When one of hip-hop's most iconic rappers had an opportunity to open for one of the biggest bands in the world, he turned it down. He was already a star in his own right and could have made tons of money. So why did he say no? It all comes back to drugs. But this story is more than just about that. It's a story about hope and second chances. This is the rapper formerly known as Darkman X, aka DMX. DMX had risen to fame with his raw lyrics and gritty beats. His debut album, It's Dark and Hell is Hot, went double platinum in less than a week and established him as one of hip-hop's most promising new artists. But behind the success, he was struggling with a secret addiction that threatened to destroy his career. During this time, rumors swirled around DMX's personal life, fueling speculation about his identity and background. These whispers only added to his mystique and contributed to his rise to fame. As his star continued to rise, so did the intensity of his drug cravings. Despite his efforts to keep his addiction hidden from the public eye, it soon became evident that he needed help. With the support of his friends, family, and management, he checked into rehab in 1998, but this was not an easy decision, and the road to recovery was long and difficult. After completing rehab, DMX seemed to be on the path to a brighter future. But just when it seemed like he had turned the corner, he relapsed and returned to the dark side. In an interview with XXL magazine in 2006, he candidly discussed his struggles with addiction and the toll it took on his life. "I was out there doing what I loved to do, but at the same time I was going through something that was destroying my life." Despite the challenges he faced, DMX continued to produce music and perform for his fans. But the darkness within him grew stronger and eventually consumed him completely. He found himself back in jail and his career began to crumble around him. In 2004, DMX was arrested after a probation violation stemming from a previous drug conviction. And in 2005, he was charged with animal cruelty after a video surfaced showing him abusing a puppy. These scandals further damaged his reputation and made it difficult for him to secure new opportunities in the music industry. However, amidst the darkness, there was a glimmer of hope. A ray of light pierced through the clouds and offered him a chance at redemption. That ray of light came in the form of an offer to open for the legendary band the Rolling Stones on their 2005-2006 world tour. If he accepted, he would get to perform in front of millions of people worldwide and possibly turn his career around. So why did he refuse such an amazing opportunity? What could be so important that would make him pass up on opening for one of the biggest bands in history? As tempting as it may seem to blame drugs or personal issues once again, the truth is far more complex than that. The year was 2005 and the legendary band the Rolling Stones were planning their massive world tour. They wanted to bring along a special guest to open for them, and they had their eyes on DMX. At the time, DMX was still a big name in hip-hop, and the Stones thought he would be a great choice to get the crowds hyped for their show. Plus, it would expose the Stones to a younger audience, but DMX had other plans. He was offered the chance to join the tour at the peak of his career and when he was still a major draw in the hip-hop world. However, he turned it down because he wanted to stay true to himself and not compromise his artistic integrity. In an interview with MTV in 2006, DMX explained his reasoning for turning down the offer. "I couldn't do it because they didn't want me to do what I do. They wanted me to come out there and be something that I'm not. And I ain't gonna do that. I'd rather go home than do that." He said he felt that the Stones wanted him to change his act to appeal to their older audience and that he wasn't willing to compromise his style and authenticity. This included not being able to use certain curse words in his songs and toning down some of his more explicit lyrics. For DMX, staying true to himself was more important than the money and fame that came with opening for the Stones. He was willing to walk away from a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity rather than compromise his art. This decision was met with mixed reactions. Some people understood and respected his reasons for turning down the offer, while others criticized him for what they saw as a foolish move. After all, opening for the Stones could have been a huge boost for his career at a time when he was struggling to stay relevant. The Stones weren't thrilled with DMX's decision either. Mick Jagger himself expressed his disappointment, saying, "We were looking forward to having him on the tour, but if he doesn't want to play, he doesn't have to." But despite the naysayers, DMX stuck to his guns. He knew that compromising his art was not worth the price, and he was willing to pay the consequences. And those consequences were significant. After turning down the offer, DMX's career never really recovered. He continued to struggle with addiction and legal issues, and was never again able to achieve the same level of success he had in the late 90s and early 2000s. In fact, it seemed as though every time he got close to making a comeback, something would happen to derail his momentum. In 2012, he was arrested again for drug-related offenses, and in 2016, he was charged with animal cruelty for a second time. Throughout all of this, DMX's fans remained loyal. They continued to buy his albums and stream his songs, even as his career continued to decline. In 2017, DMX released his seventh studio album, Exodus, which featured collaborations with the likes of Lil Wayne, Bono, and The Lox, but it received mixed reviews and failed to chart on Billboard's top 200 albums. In the years since, DMX has continued to release music independently, but he has yet to regain the mainstream success he enjoyed earlier in his career. But now let's return to the story. While it may seem as though DMX threw away his career by turning down the Rolling Stones, the truth is far more complicated. In the years since he turned down the offer, DMX has continued to struggle with addiction and legal issues. And many people believe that these problems are what ultimately led to his downfall, but DMX himself has a different theory. In an interview with Vlad TV in 2017, he said that turning down the Rolling Stones was not a mistake and that he has no regrets about the decision. "I stood on principle," he said. "I'd rather go home than compromise." He also said that he believes his problems began long before he turned down the Rolling Stones and that the decision simply accelerated his downfall. "I had built-in problems," he said. "It was just a matter of time before they caught up with me. Turning down the tour didn't cause my downfall. It just expedited it." Whether or not this is true, one thing is for sure, DMX's decision to turn down the Rolling Stones offer was a defining moment in his career. It showed that he was willing to stand up for his beliefs and not compromise his art for fame and fortune. While it may have cost him dearly, it also gave him the opportunity to be true to himself. In the end, that is perhaps the most important thing. Today, DMX continues to make music and perform live shows. He may never reach the heights he once achieved, but he is still passionate about his craft. And that is all that matters. His story is a reminder that success is not always as straightforward as it seems. Sometimes the choices we make in the pursuit of fame and fortune can have unintended consequences. But it is also a story of hope. Hope that even when things seem darkest, there is always a chance for redemption. Hope that even when we make mistakes, we can learn from them and move forward. Hope that even when we fall, we can pick ourselves back up and start again. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.